Wait, that's meant to come off with the bumper.
Is it? I don't think it is.
I just call it being blessed. You ain't never did the work, but you wanna be the best.
I have been commissioned to clean the engine bay of the 200 series. So we're actually gonna do a little bit of in-depth work on this engine. And then I went to pop the hood and it is absolutely filthy under here. All right, so I've vacuumed up all the loose dust. Now, I don't know if you can see in there, but it's pretty filthy. Obviously, in these modern engines, there's a lot of electrical things going on. They technically are all waterproof, all of our electronic connections, but I'm not gonna go ahead and start shooting, 1,000 PSI water pressure into the, main harness of the ECU or something like that. So try not to shoot directly into where terminals need to make a good contact. Water in electrical things, just gremlins like no tomorrow. So be cautious of that. Cleaning solvent, cover the whole thing. I'm not gonna go lightly with it. I'm gonna drench it, let it sit for a couple of minutes, and then I'm gonna rinse it off again and see how far we go. Get the Bowdens on it, then actually get the scrubbing brushes out and go ham with the brushes. Now, I know it's not detailed, it's not, perfectly clean, but at least it's clean enough to give me an idea of exactly what needs to come apart to get this intercooler off and to get this intake manifold off. And you can't really do that with all that dirt in there. So that's why I decided to go ahead and clean this thing, plus make it more presentable as well. I'm ripping into this thing, it's not looking that bad, and then I go and take your throttle body collector off. Have a look at this.
How's it look, mate?
Holy shit. Damn! That is crazy.
Anyone that tells you not to do this on one of these common rail diesel motors is a jokester.
Yeah, exactly. So what would stop this is actually if we deleted the EGR.
But I reckon catch can maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, catch can.
Yep.
That would help solve this issue.
Yep.
It wouldn't fix it, but it would help solve it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so we've just dropped all the manifold pieces off, plus the twin EGR valves off at the guys at, what was the place called?
High Tech.
High Tech.
But it sounds like they've got a bit of work in the EGR, he said. They've got to split it
Yeah,
apart.
there's a heat exchange there with the cooling system.
Yep.
So they've got to take that apart, and they said that's like a whole day's work worth of work in there.
There's a bit on.
So while that's off, getting cleaned up, getting measured up, I am going to get into this engine bay and start cleaning up.
I will have nothing to do with
I
it.
will have nothing to do with this.
Absolutely nothing.
Start cleaning the cylinder heads. So we'll see how we go. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to replace that there starter motor, because I will never, ever, ever again have the opportunity like I have now to just get in there and do it. Also, while I've got the valley out, while I've got the intake manifold off the valley, I'm going to do some upper engine cleaner, clean all that buildup of grime in those intake ports that you can see there. We've got our parts back from High Tech Diesel, all nice and clean, all carbon free. So now we're back to the reassembly. So I've got the rest of my afternoon cut out. Dirty lens. Better. Got the wheel off. As you can see, rotor. This one's actually not that bad, but Sam insists that because he ran the pads pretty low, he wants new rotors on it, so it's gonna be nice and easy. Just undo the caliper, swing that around, cable tied up so I don't have to break the brake line, break into the brake line, sorry, and then pop this bad boy straight off, new one back on, brake clean, put the rotor back on, make sure the pads are seated properly, and start bedding them in. We'll see what happens. And that is one rotor done. Simple, easy, quick, don't need a workshop.
So it's the perfect opportunity while Levi gets those new DBA brakes installed on the front of this thing. I'm going to jump inside and install one of the best bang for buck four-wheel drive mods you can do, an EVC throttle controller, and it should take me less than 10 minutes. Let's jump in. Now, when it comes to installing the EVC, there are only two things you really need to worry about. The first is the position of the actual control unit and the screen. And they do give you a fairly hefty length cable to play around with positioning. And the other is the little two-way interceptor clip, which is going to go in between the clip and the plug on your throttle and where that leads to. And all this does is intercept the signal and help speed things up, and it's going to take that throttle lag out of it. If you're a bigger bloke like me, a handy tip is have your phone here so that you can actually take photos of the clips under the dash, because you can't get a big head like this in a small space like that. The other thing is you're going to want to work out exactly where to run the cabling and hide it and do a neat install. In this case, we have this kick panel in here, so I'm going to tuck the wiring in there. The throttle plug is just there, and then we can punch out the cable up here next to the column. Now you guys probably can't see that, but that plug there normally goes directly to the top of the throttle here, and the EVC is going to sit in between those, intercept the signal, and help speed things up and get rid of that throttle lag. Don't know if you can see that, guys, but the plug's all in. You'll be left with this bit sticking out here. The way I like to do things is I'm now going to find a spot to mount the actual screen around about there. Boom. Just like that, all installed. Literally took me 2 seconds. I'm just going to turn the car on, make sure that power's up. My work here is done. I'm going inside and get dry.
One eternity later.
Obviously, I look a little different, and I'll explain exactly why. It is actually a couple of months later with this 200 series build that we're doing. I had a little bit of a blonde moment, and I ordered the wrong PWR intercooler. As you know, these things are Australian made and they are made to order. So I had to wait twice as long. So why would someone invest this much money in their top mount intercooler? First of all, you're going to get a cooler air supply into your engine. Cooler air means more oxygen rich. More oxygen means more power, baby.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
In regards to efficiency, this intercooler has much more cooling fins. So again, it can really bring that heat down. On top of that, we've also got twin mounted thermo fans. If you were to pair this up with a nice bonnet scoop, you get a lot of airflow through that radiator and really, through that intercooler and really cool that intake air down. As you can see, it's made out of a billet aluminum CNC'd into its shape. Nicely TIG welded seams. This thing is a real piece of quality, and I can't wait to see what it does on the Big 2. Wiring the thermo fans is very, very simple. All I need is a power supply from the battery, earth to the battery terminal, and also an ignition source. PWR have gone ahead and done all the prefab wiring for me, so I simply just need to give it power. There's also a couple of options in regards to how you trigger the thermo fans to go on. PWR give you the basic one where it's ignition source, so the second you turn the key on, the fans are blowing. This is really good, keeps the air temp down constantly, but still allows your engine to get up to operating temperature because that is the thermostat's job. But you can also trigger these things with temperature switches and things of that nature, so that when the air goes above a certain degree, the fans kick on and it brings that air temp back down. But in this case, it's a simple on and off. All right, well there you have it guys, new PWR top mount intercooler with the twin thermo fans fitted. It is that simple when it comes to using quality parts. A quick recap, so we cleaned the top end of the intake manifold, got rid of all the carbon. We also gave the engine bay a little bit of a detail, and we put the trick new PWR top mount intercooler. So all in all, the big two, she's ready for another trip. We'll see what happens later on down the track. See you guys.